I'm going to ask that you fasten your seatbelts.
So I guess now is a good time to ask at this point in the video, in your opinion, Amara, that whole thing, like what happened? Because you and I sit on different sides of the table with this right now. So in your opinion, what happened?
I I've not looked up. Maybe I should have before making this video. I've not looked up what postpartum depression, like what the symptoms are. I've not done a quiz. You know all those things you do. I don't know if I had postpartum depression. I remember people around me kept telling me to go to the GP. And I was in touch with the GP, and I did go to the GP and stuff like that. But I knew that if I talked about certain things that I was thinking and feeling, they would tell me to go on antidepressants.
100% they tell you to go on antidepressants.
Because that's what I was seeing around me. I didn't want to go. I've been on antidepressants before, as you know, for like 5 years.
And I didn't want you to go on antidepressants.
I didn't want to go on antidepressants. But I will say it's the closest I've ever felt to not wanting to be on them, because as much as you hear about how I don't want medication in my system, obviously I don't want to go on antidepressants. Yeah. It was closest I felt to, I missed that, the crutch of antidepressants.
So do you know that one of the symptoms of postnatal depression is that you've had depression in the past and that you've been treated for depression, like on medications and stuff like that? So if you go like literally, I'm not making it up, like NHS website is, you've got a history in your family of postpartum, postnatal depression. You've been depressed prior. Because then that feeling will feel the same now. And also you've possibly been depressed throughout your pregnancy. So those are three of the things. Obviously then the other ones are like, you've not got the family support unit, or you and your partner are having too many falling out and things, which means that you've not got the support of the structure, so you're kind of in it alone. Postpartum psychosis and other things develop. But 5 of them are your history. Have you experienced something like this before? And 2 of them are, well, you've not got support at home.
But that's not a fair thing though, because that's why I didn't want to go to the GP about it, because even though like, you guys do what you want to do. I don't mean don't go to the GP. I mean, for me personally, there's context to the things. Do you know what I mean? For example, were you depressed or anxious during your pregnancy? Yes, because I just had a miscarriage before it. So yeah, obviously I was. Have you had depression before? Yeah, I was really ill growing up, so I had a lot of depression. But these are context. Do you know what I mean? Like, if there's context behind the thing, and it's that thing of is that feeling a reasonable response to what's going on, basically?
Yeah.
So I'm saying at this point, it's not that I just gave birth and I was feeling sad. It wasn't that. I just gave birth. I went through a lot of trauma with breastfeeding, a lot of physical pain with breastfeeding, and a lot of feeling of failure with breastfeeding. And then me and you weren't doing very well at the time, through our exhaustion, through our like miscommunication, all that stuff. So there's context behind why I'm feeling so low and feeling so rubbish. I'm not having any negative feelings towards it, Amaya. I don't feel like, oh my God, I never related to that.
Obviously. Oh yeah, that's one of the things.
You know those things, shaking baby. Oh no, I've never.
I know.
But I had some low feelings, as in sorry, I will stick to your question. I did have low feelings of, I remember in the early days, I peeked around the door and I saw you with Amaya, and I remember thinking, because I was such a mess, I remember thinking that, I've told you this anyway, but like, you would be fine, and you never understand what I mean by that. Or you think
I understand what you're saying, but you're wrong.
Yeah, but I always just felt like, I looked at you and I thought, like, you'd be fine as a single dad. Like, you were taking care of all her needs really well. And I thought, like, it's better that I'm not here. And I didn't think beyond that, what do I mean by not here? I just meant she looks happy and settled with you, and I'm messing it up.
Because you felt like a failure.
Because
as a mother,
I felt
basically.
failure. And because I was so all over the place. Like, I couldn't find the ground again. Do you know what I mean? So in that respect, I feel like maybe I did go through postpartum depression, whatever that is. But I feel like I don't feel like I had a hormonal imbalance going on.
Definitely.
But did I have the imbalance that is linked to depression and all that? I don't think I had a brain. I don't think I had something abnormal happening in my brain.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Which that's the reason why then I think antidepressants, that's a whole different conversation, but then antidepressants and that kind of stuff are more useful when you've actually got a neurological imbalance. I think I had the normal hormonal imbalance, and then I had all this stuff going on situationally with the breastfeeding and the thing, and everything was just feeling rubbish, and I was just feeling very low. Plus, other than the miscarriage, so when the miscarriage happened, that was the first time I'd ever had to like learn how to be emotionally resilient again, because before that, any test I had antidepressants to help me. So with the miscarriage, I remember I told you, like, I needed you to help me because I didn't know how to be emotionally resilient. This was the second time. So it hit me again, and again, I didn't know how to be emotionally resilient, and me and you weren't on great talking terms. normally I refer to you and I'm like, show me what to do. But this time you were like enemy number one to me.
Yeah, but at which point was I enemy number one? Because
It wasn't the first few weeks.
I don't think that's accurate because I don't think it's okay or fair to merge everything into one and say that I was enemy number one.
Yeah.
Because the thing that you refer to as you couldn't speak to me was after one specific falling out.
Yeah, it was.
Which happened in 3.5 to 4 weeks into
it
whatever.
was 3 to 4 weeks.
And within those first 4 weeks, you were feeling all of the things.
Yeah.
And look, you correct me if you're wrong. I will never try and put words in your mouth. But I know that you told me that I was the most supportive person throughout that whole thing.
Oh no, I'm not trying to not say that. You were so supportive.
Because I know obviously we've not mentioned it in the video.
Because in my head that's a different topic. But
It's important because I think it sounds like I know it sounds a bit defensive, but I think it sounds like you've been going through this thing and I've just been like, oh well, it's just because you're tired.
No.
I definitely supported you throughout all of this.
You carried me after labor. You carried me through those weeks because I didn't have any resilience left in me. You know, when the breastfeeding hurdles were coming, I literally said to you, like, I can't do this, and I wanted to give up. And you said, can I try for you? And you literally like held my breast I breastfed, but you did it for me. You know what I mean? Like, as much as you want Amaya to have the benefits of breastfeeding, you knew how important it was to me.
But I did that for a month.
And I know you did. You held my breast and fed her with using me for a month, and I was done. Like, I was in so much pain. I was in so much like inner turmoil. I was done, and you just carried it. I'll never. There was such a selfless thing for you to do because you didn't gain anything.
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine for it. That's what I was just saying. At that
no,
point,
but
you felt like you couldn't talk to me.
I'm bad with timelines.
You felt like you couldn't talk to me about a specific thing.
Yeah, I'm being hyperbolic with time.
Yeah, that's not great.
That
doesn't come across well.
No. I'm joking about enemy number one. I'm saying
I know.
I'm saying like, normally I lean on you to help me with emotional resilience when tests come. But during this time, we weren't feeling close, and it didn't feel like. It's not that you didn't make me feel like I couldn't come to you, but I felt like we're separate people right now, and I need to deal with my own stuff. I couldn't deal with my own stuff. But yeah, so when I look back to your question, biggest tangent ever. I think I went through some postnatal depression or whatever that is, because I don't think everybody has that much of a negative experience. I think I had a very negative post experience. I think I was very obsessed with breastfeeding, which I don't regret because alhamdulillah, we're 9 months going.
It's easy as anything now.
I think it was very testing, but definitely at least testing. I learned a lot. I feel like I could do not a diploma in breastfeeding, but like in the future, if I ever want to go into anything, it'll be breastfeeding.
You should do a video on it to advise you certain things.
I feel like I learned a lot.
And I am unfortunately, you guys will never be able to access me, unfortunately. But just know, do you like when you say, oh, I knew this guy and he was the best out of all of them. And you tell the tale of me, the best lactation consultant. You want that to be your legacy. Yeah.
I feel like
suffocation.
Ew. I feel like I had some postpartum depression. I feel like you were exhausted and you don't do well when you're tired. And I know that, and normally, like, with the yin to the yang, do you know what I mean? Normally I know how to like help that situation, but I wasn't in a situation. I wasn't in a place to be any kind of cooperative. Like, I was just sinking into the ground. So I'm sinking into the ground. You're exhausted. And I feel like there was no bridge between us at that point. Like, we're both going down in different ways. And and if you ask me how it fixed, the mercy of Allah, I don't have his answer other than Allah just decided, let there be peace. And he gave us peace. I don't have any other answer to that question.
Okay.
And I'm so grateful. and it's made me really think, like, if our marriage does stay strong to the end, inshallah, it's from Allah, man. Because sometimes, but I feel like you can tie your camel and do your best, but sometimes you can try hard and it still doesn't go the way you want. It made me have a lot of empathy for divorce during it. I was like, oh, sometimes it isn't anybody's fault. It's just a terrible situation and you can't get out of it. Whether that's true or not, that's what I was thinking at the time.
See, I have to be very careful here because I know that it's a touchy topic and women don't like men speaking about women's feelings and women's topics, yeah? But it just so happens that I've got a wife, I've got a daughter, I've got a mum, I've got a sister, and I would say And I think that you tell me where like I said, I'm never going to put words in my wife's mouth, and I'm never going to downplay your emotion and say, oh, that wasn't real. You're just making it up. It's just in your head. That's not what I understand, that you have a reality, whatever you're living at the time. Yeah. I'd say that in terms of us as humans, we need to realize what our limitations are, or what our triggers are, or what our conditioned responses to things, isn't it?
Yeah.
When am I not my best, or which things really help me when I'm at my best, or things like that. Yeah. So for instance, you said when I'm tired, I hit a wall at some point and I'm done. Yeah. If I had to speak about you in this situation, I would say that when you're tired, let's just take this outside of postpartum stuff. When you're tired, you don't perceive, you could be really sad.
Yeah.
And once you nap, it's fine. There's nothing wrong, but we stayed up late and we had a movie night, and the next day you're really sad.
Yeah.
When you're coming on your period,
Yeah.
You're really, really sad. Yeah. And sometimes things get blown out of proportion, a lot. Yeah. And when you're like just low energy, or
Me and I'm always sad.
you're not always, no, Jordan, it's not you're not always sad, yeah, but just we've been married for 4 years now, yeah. Now, just periods hit people different. Yeah. Not all of your periods are bad, but there were times in PCOS times when you had like 2-3 periods a month, right? But let's just say generally, a woman has a period a month. Yeah, that's 12 a year. That's 48 weeks of our
Married life.
200 weeks. Yeah, call it a quarter, right? A quarter of our marriage has been you on your period, and sometimes that has been more than 1 week, that period. And sometimes it's not as though, I'm on a period for a week and I'm bad. There's premenstrual stress which builds up, and then there's the days when you are on your period. Now this is just part of a woman's cycle. Yeah, that's how it are with women. Now listen, this isn't me saying that women are stressed or anything like that. In fact, in Islam, Allah has there's an authentic hadith which says that there's 100 parts of mercy. Allah's kept 99 parts of that mercy for himself, so that he can admit us to Jannah and forgive us for all the things that we've done and whatever, yeah. And one part of that mercy is for the earth, right? And each one of those parts fills from the earth all the way up to the heavens, okay? And then Allah gives the example of what that mercy is, and it says, for instance, how a mother is compassionate to her child, right? There's another, I don't know if it's a hadith or another story, I don't know how authentic it is, that says out of that one part, 99 parts of that is been placed in the mother. So you're talking about compassion. You're talking about an emotional makeup which makes you compassionate and makes you have mercy. So there's to say that the women have these things which can also make you open to negative feelings as well, or feeling like things are sad. Yeah, do you know what I mean? That's the way that Allah's created you. Yeah. So it just so happens that although I may not be permitted to speak about menstrual and this, I know you. Yeah. And I know what your triggers are, and I know when. You're very good at predicting when my period's coming. I'm okay with you. Yeah. Yeah. And in this situation, you just had a baby. You were really low. We were exhausted. We were both exhausted. You were really hungry, and we weren't eating. Yeah. You were really physically drained, and you had hormones times what? A period times 100? Yeah. Flooding through your body. Watch your neck. And you had a period times 100 flooding through your body. Yeah. Now, this isn't to say that the things that you were feeling, you really felt the things, innit? But we were not in crisis. Yeah. My reality of this situation is that we were not in crisis. We had an argument, and your reality then really emphasized things. The thing that I would say in terms of you and me, I thought that we had an argument, but I feel like the arguments near the start were worse. Yeah. Of marriage. I think that they were worse. I think that the thing that happened with your breastfeeding was very unusual. You always thought that you weren't going to have a baby. You always thought that you wouldn't be a mother, and you've always been so ready to criticize yourself and act like, oh, I'm not enough as a woman. Which you're more woman than any woman I know. Anyway, woman. No shade to my mom. What do you know what I mean? You're the best mother. You're the best wife. You're the best everything to me. Do you know what I mean? My camera's full over there. All of those things combined led to a distorted reality between us. Yeah. Now I'm not saying nothing was real, because I was short too, and I'd become a bit impatient at times, not with your breastfeeding, but with our communication and our attitude and things like that. I do think that the reality that we were living in, because of what was going on, was not entirely accurate. Is that offensive?
No, so at no point during that argument did you think we were going to break up?
No, not at all. No.
Not at all.
No, I thought early on when we had arguments at the start of marriage, I thought, okay, look, she's not really equipped for this. She's not down for this, yeah. And obviously, some people have no resilience. Do you know what I mean? They can't see it through. Oh, one piece of drama walks up. Oh, I'm out. That's it. I've had enough of men. I'm not made for this. I'm gonna go back home. Whatever it is, yeah. I thought, okay, well, this ain't for her, because whenever challenges are coming up, she's just going back in the shell. Do you know what I mean? So then, at this part now, I thought that, okay, I know that your hormones are through the roof. I know what your hormones are. Yeah. I know you. I know you. I know what you're like. I know the things that you're saying don't match the person that you are. And I know the way that you're responding to me doesn't match what I was saying to you. Yeah. Although there were times when I was a bit short with you and stuff like that, which is fine. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm not trying to disregard your whole experience. That's not true. But I think that certain things were emphasized. Yeah, we had a rough time. We were exhausted. I wasn't my best self, especially in the argument. I wasn't my best self. Yeah, but I tried to retract that. I didn't say. By the way, I've never shouted at my wife, and I don't scream, and I don't abuse her, and I don't cuss her, nothing like that. I don't swear at my wife. There's nothing like that happened. Yeah, we just spoke about something. And I was like, oh, well, you're always like. It was one of them like that. Yeah.
So did you think we were going to go back to normal?
Well, yeah.
How long did you think?
I was okay. I was ready at any point.
We didn't.
Yeah, but it takes a few days sometimes.
We didn't cuddle.
It takes a few days sometimes. It just takes a few days.
Was it a few days? Because to me, it was like weeks to months.
No, it might have been from when we argued here to when we were okay. It might have been a week. All right, listen, everything's going wrong with the mics. I'm wrapping the video up. I'm wrapping the video up. Right?
This podcast has been shambolic.
It's been shambolic. It's a bit hectic. That camera's gone. This one wasn't recording 2 seconds ago.
The emotions have not been great.
You're gonna watch it here. I'm hot. I'm sweaty. Are you hot, Maya? Are you hot?
Last question for you.
Look on.
Does it make you nervous to have another baby with me?
Not at all. No.
You're not scared. That was hardcore.
Hardcore for you. Yeah, you can't go through that again. I can. I can do that a few more times.
I'm a bit scared because some people have breastfeeding problems, like the second one, but not the first one. Babe, I don't know. We can get through anything, inshallah.
Look, conversations like this are important. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that you're very reasonable.
Thanks.
When you're in your normal frame of mind, and I know that you can admit. Let's take it outside of postpartum. Yeah. But you can admit that sometimes hormones do certain things to you.
Well, when I think back on that, I think I am that woman in Barbarian. I feel like I was like, feed.
So I'm not trying to. I have to be careful. I'm not trying to invalidate your reality of what was happening and how you felt and stuff like that. I don't think that you should have gone and taken antidepressants. Yeah. Yeah. I think that people have to be careful when they're saying postpartum depression, although again, I'm not the person to speak on that. Yeah. But a lot of the things that people experience after pregnancy are extremely normal. And I would, do you know what I mean? Yeah. You pump hormones through my body. You change my body so I look out of shape. Yeah. I feel like you don't even want to be intimate with me, and I'm really hungry, and I'm trying to breastfeed, and I've got pains, and I think I'm gonna be miserable. Yeah. Look, you just put a stone on me now, just now. No hormones, no nothing. Every day I wake up, I'm gonna be miserable. Yeah. So I'm not saying that you were miserable, by the way, but do you know what I mean? I think
was pretty sad.
I think a lot of the things. Allah's created the woman to feel like this, yeah? And I think that we as humans sometimes don't really know how to navigate through systems. We don't know how to support our wives, or our families don't know how to support us properly, yeah? But I do know that postpartum depression is a real thing, yeah? I just don't... the thing that annoys me is that if you went to the hospital at any single point, they would have said, take those antidepressants, and that would have messed us up. Yeah. That would have messed us up because it's important... Not that other people can't take them, but it's important in our relationship to have resilience. Yes. We operate in certain type of ways,
it wouldn't have fixed the problem either. It would have just numbed the problem for a bit.
It would have numbed the problem.
I'm glad that even though you're saying, like, I don't want you to see it the same way as I did, because I like the fact that to you it wasn't as big of a deal because it was horrible to me. So, it made me feel better after when... I felt like it was the worst thing in the world and the worst thing we'd ever been through, and you were like, that was minor. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I kind of like that about you.
It was definitely tiring. It was definitely a lot. It was the most tired I've ever been. It's the most tired I've ever been, and it's the most like switched on and like, oh my God, that was exhausting. All right. We are the X's. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Thank you for listening. Make sure you like and subscribe. Do you want to say any last words, Amara? Because it's gone on for too long.
No, it's been long enough.
You know, the thing is, I have to edit these videos, man. What is this, 2 hours?
That was not fun to go through emotionally again, so I'm glad that's done.
Yeah.